Hey, happy Friday, everybody. I hope you're doing great. I'm actually coming to you from Thursday morning, recording this before I do my webinar here in an hour or so. So you're getting all my fancy webinar lighting, which I'm realizing is not all that different from my lighting I've been getting just using a normal setup to record these videos. So mental note, maybe I don't have to set up my webinar lighting in advance, which would be awesome. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Michelle Warner. I'm the creator of MichelleBuildsIt.com, where I am chronicling my experience in creating an all-new course and info product-based business. And I provide weekly updates over here on video to tell you about all my updates and how it's going. So as we know, where we left off on the journey last week, I was going to launch some free trainings, and I'm doing that. I've started that with a webinar that's going down today about the 3 core funnels in your business. And those 3 funnels are all about welcoming people and engaging people and selling people. So it's really about bringing back the kind of funnel hysteria over how hard this has to be and bringing it back to some fundamentals in order to build a base of what your funnels really need to look like. So doing that in a few hours, that'll be exciting. I enjoy doing webinars. We'll see. Hopefully Webinar Jam doesn't blow up on me. I've always had a ton of success with Webinar Jam, and I really like it, and I think it's easy to use. And I'm totally knocking on wood here because everybody else seems to have Webinar Jam nightmare stories. So I kind of am just waiting for that day to happen to me, but hopefully it won't, and hopefully today will go off without a hitch. And if it doesn't, I'm going to share this video with you anyway, and you guys who are on the webinar can all laugh with me because, it is what it is, whatever. What else is going on this week? So it's been interesting. This week, I'm all about, as we've talked about many a time, using action in order to figure out where I'm going next. So even though I haven't done a ton of free trainings, I did a couple of Facebook Lives on my business page that weren't very in-depth, and working through this webinar, just that has spurred on all these conversations. Like, that's all I keep talking about is the conversations that this stuff spurs on and the people that it leads me to meet and the, serendipitous conversations that it leads me to have. So it's, again, made me clear on how I want to offer my courses, in the core funnel that I want to use. So, if we even back it up more to the Business Model Canvas days, and this week has been, the last 2 weeks really have been about channels and how I want to communicate with people. And within that is really figuring out what the core funnel is going to be. And I've been back and forth on this question quite a bit, but I think I have some clarity on it. And I think it's going to be what's called an octopus method funnel, and we can talk about that more later. I don't want to get into a big funnel training class here as well, because it's not a super advanced funnel, but it's kind of an advanced funnel, and I don't think it's a good use of our time to break it down here. But knowing that in my mind, that it doesn't necessarily change any content strategies that I've had. It just really focuses them even more than they have been, and it focuses them into intentional communication as opposed to a little bit more of some kind of throw everything at them strategies. I don't know what the strategy would be called that I had been using, like with Pinterest and with some other platforms. So I'll break that down in a blog post probably next week of what the difference is between some of the content strategies and channel strategies that I'm thinking about. Doesn't change anything about the free trainings that I'm talking about. Doesn't change anything about, my focus on guest posts and interviews, of which I've scheduled a couple of more. It doesn't change any of that core stuff. It does change how much content I will be creating for my own site. And I'm going to stop blabbing about it because this probably makes no sense. As you can tell, this is all processing in my head. This is going to be a big thing that I'm going to be spending some time with this weekend, and probably overhauling my main website a little bit to reflect it, because I would like to have some bare bones funnels in place probably within the next 10 days so that I can start sending some organic traffic through it with some just service-based offerings to see how it starts to convert, as opposed to, having full courses ready, because that's not going to happen within 10 days. But I want to start putting together the logic for this funnel and getting some people through and seeing what values I can provide there. So that's been a huge focus this week. Other focuses this week, God, it's been a busy week. I had one client who we've been planning a bunch of stuff for several months, and like it all launched this week, and it's just been totally crazy. So I'm super excited for her, but no rest for the weary this week for sure. So I'm excited to get through the webinar today, to get all this stuff out to you guys, and then to take a breath tomorrow, probably head to the river for a little bit of river surfing time while the runoff is still coming down the mountains, and just do a little bit of a regroup tomorrow and get into a strong weekend where I can really be thinking about that funnel and getting some of the guts of that funnel in place and getting a plan in place and writing up a blog post for you guys about exactly what I will be doing there, because it's super exciting, and it's also all come to me at 2 and 3 in the morning. So right now it just lives in a bunch of, random scribbles of a girl who's up at midnight thinking about the future of her business. So I need to buckle down and figure out what all that really looks like when it is not the middle of the night, and come up with an execution plan to start getting it built. And of course, to continue having conversations with people. I'm actually going to be offering free funnel audits at the end of my webinar to anybody who's there live. So hopefully we'll get those filled pretty quickly. I'm only going to do, I said I'm going to do a minimum of 10. I don't think I'll do many more than that. I may break that rule a little bit. But I'm going to do at least 10, get on the phone with people and help them figure out their funnel stuff. And I think that will also help a ton in carving out these initial service offerings. So that's what I have going this week. It's been a busy week. As you can tell, my head is still scattered, processing a lot of it. But super exciting. Just the momentum and the direction things are going are making a ton of sense. And I've had, like I said, I've had a bunch of in the middle of the night ahas that just keep building on each other. I feel like every week I'm telling you I have ahas, and that's kind of how this works, right? You start building little ahas as you go. So I just need to take the time to process all those ahas into an actual plan. So with that, I'm going to go finish up the rest of my webinar prep. See some of you guys there, I'm sure, or again, you'll be seeing this tomorrow. So I hope, I hope everything went well and Webinar Jam didn't explode on me, and that you guys got some great info out of it. And we will catch up soon. Have a good one.